here we have our t-shirt. We've finished our sleeve and our bound armhole. The next thing to do is to sew the side seams together on the overlocker, but what I'm going to do first, I just find that the overlocker often will push the layers apart and then you don't end up with a nice neat finish on the edge. So what I like to do is I like to just tack where my starting point and any of my seams in place, just to hold them in place so that you can get a really nice finish on the garment. So I've just come over to the straight sewer. I'm literally just running a little bit of tacking in there to make sure that the two edges match up, and you can do that on the seam too if you want, to make sure that they match up together, because the overlocker does tend to push thick areas apart. So if you're looking to get a really nice finish on your garment, it's a good idea just to put a bit of tacking in there. Just across the seam, making sure that it matches up. And then at the, not so important at the hem, because we'll actually be turning that up and hemming that. So I'm just going to do it at the armhole edges. And on this side, we're just making sure that the binding is matching up correctly. Okay, so that when that's turned out, that you've got a nice even flow. Okay, so now over to the overlocker and sew your side seams. Okay, so I'm back at the overlocker and we're going to sew our side seams. You'll need to sew them with the front of the t-shirt on top. The reason being, we want the right side of the overlocking to be on the front of the garment, and the seam then gets pushed towards the back. So I'll start with my sleeve side, and I've already tacked that in place, so I shouldn't need to use pins. 6mm seam allowance, so just trying to keep the edges lined up without cutting off any of the fabric. But you know, you can cut a millimetre, you can get away with cutting a millimetre away. And my seam on my sleeve is facing in towards the front. Now there should be a halfway notch on your shirt, but if you haven't got a halfway notch, it's a good idea to come down and just find the hem and make sure that that's even, and then you can work your way back to make sure that they're even all the way. You don't want to get to the end and find that one seam is a lot longer than the other. Okay, so always come to your end or to your notch and work back. So that's our sleeve side seam done, and then coming over onto the bound edge, we actually need to start at the hem on this side, because we want the front of the garment to be on top. So come down to the hem and line up your edges. Once you get going, look for your next matching point. I can't find the notch on here, so I'm going to go up to the end and then work back. You shouldn't be stretching this, it should just fit together without any drama. And then when I get up to my binding, you'll notice I've left the binding sticking out. It just makes it easier because it gives you something to hold on to. So and we'll just let the overlocker trim that back. Okay, and there's our side seams done.